Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Connor.
And this is a chit chat with the Ribbit Rats.
Oh gosh, that's not our tagline,
We're
is it?
sticking with it. I like it.
Okay.
How are you doing today, everybody? Vietnam. Today's our first Q&A episode.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little Q&A session.
Yeah, a fun little chit chat.
Yeah.
You guys asked some very good questions on YouTube. We posted on our community post, and we also posted on Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to answer every single question.
I'm honestly shocked at how many people use community posts on YouTube. Like, people engage with it pretty well.
Oh, I love a community post.
Yeah.
It's like a little blog.
Yeah.
And obviously, I love blogging.
Your hair is fabulous, by the way, today.
Thank you.
We record in batches, and I don't think I mentioned in the last episode, your hair looks wonderful. You got it done today, and I think it looks fantastic.
She blew it out in a way that I cannot blow out anything. So thank you very much to my lady.
Okay. I'm going to start with a couple questions from Kofi.
Okay.
This one's from Rizzo. If jobs did not exist, what would you do to pass the time?
Oh, if we were just like wealthy and could do anything?
I guess so.
I think I'd go on a lot of walks. I think I'd go on a lot of walks, and I would have horses, and I would talk to the horses like they were people. And I would write a completely unreadable book, probably. Like the most boring thing to whatever, like literally like the language of trees, like how trees talk to each other.
Sure.
Just like something that no one would ever pick up, but that I am really into.
Yeah.
And I think I'd also buy, I'd wear like medieval tunics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. I think the way I would spend my time is that that game developer I showed you, who lives in England.
Oh yeah.
And he is very into like Renaissance stuff. I forget his YouTube name, but I'll link his YouTube name as long as he's not problematic. But he just likes to make videos talking about like historical medieval facts and details. And he rides around on his horse and wears tunics. And I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah. We talk about that guy a lot. We're like, that's the goal, I think.
He's got
whatever
figured
financial freedom that is, that's what we want.
Okay, question for each of you. This is from Sam Blue on Kofi. What are 5 movies that got you interested in film and why? Doesn't have to be the movie that got you into it, but if there is only one, of course that works too. Thank you, Sam. I think one of the early films for me would have been The Usual Suspects. My dad showed me that movie when I was a teenager, and he's like, you got to see this film. This is the American movie. And I was like, okay. And I thought it was amazing. I'd never seen anything like it before. That's where I'm going to end that statement. Okay. We got 5 movies. We got to do 10 movies. So we got to punch through.
I honestly don't think I have 5 movies that got me interested in it. So I'm kind of scrambling for answers here, but this is such a cliche answer, but Good Will Hunting.
Sure.
I loved that movie as a kid. I watched it when I was about 13 years old. But I love the mythos surrounding that movie. Like, my mom told me the story of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck getting that movie made.
Yeah.
Where like they were childhood friends, and then Ben Affleck was a small-time actor doing commercials and bit parts, and Matt Damon went to Harvard and then left and was crashing on Ben Affleck's couch, and they wrote Good Will Hunting together and then shopped it around, and every studio wanted to buy it. But they didn't want Matt Damon and Ben Affleck to act in it. They wanted to buy it and then cast like bankable stars. And they were like, we will literally not sell it to you unless we can act in it.
Yeah.
And then they got Gus Van Sant attached to it, and he directed it. And I love Gus Van Sant.
He's
fantastic
awesome.
Director. And then they got Robin Williams attached, and that was the big star that they needed to get funding. And then they made the movie, and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have had incredible careers since then.
They have. I know that is such a Cinderella story of a movie.
It is. It's such an anomaly, but I love hearing stories like that because it just fills you with like hope and beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another movie for me was Forrest Gump. Only because Forrest Gump is kind of like technically a perfect movie in a lot of ways. And I just feel like that's such an American film as well to me. And it seems so approachable. Like, this is a story that I could tell, like that kind of thing. You know, I really like that movie. It still has a place in my heart, Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you have any others that have impacted you?
The next one that impacted me, I would say, would be Grand Budapest Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first Wes Anderson movie that I ever watched, and it really expanded my mind on what a movie could be, what it could look like, what the tone could be. And it really zeroed in on a theme that I wanted to write about, which was loneliness and grief and feeling like out of place and out of time. And those are my favorite stories to write. And I didn't know that until I watched the Grand Budapest Hotel. And I was like, oh, that's the kind of story I've been trying to get at.
Sure.
And it really clarified a lot. And then it also made me fall in love with Wes Anderson. I've watched every single movie of his except for Isle of Dogs, and I might never watch Isle of Dogs. But I love everything else, and he's such a gem. And man, Okay, if I had money and like didn't have to worry about a job, I'd dress like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, no kidding.
Forever. Those
No
suits
kidding.
are fabulous.
He's excellent. I know. We're going to name up. They've got a lot of questions about movies. So
I know. I figure we can talk about our favorite movies later, but I don't want to go too into it now.
Exactly. Okay. From Jay Corrado asks, what is a notable piece of advice that you have received? I think that's a good question that we can answer. You and I specifically can answer.
When I was in college, I was working on a play, and I had some of my characters speaking Gaelic to each other in a time period where that would not be happening. Like historically, it just wouldn't be appropriate for the scene that I was building. And I knew that, but I wanted them to speak Gaelic anyway because I thought it sounded beautiful and I just really wanted it.
Sure.
And my professor at the time was this fantastic woman named Nicole Burdett, who was also an actress in The Sopranos. She played one of the sisters and is one of my favorite professors I've ever had. And she told me like, oh, they wouldn't be speaking Gaelic at this moment, that wouldn't be appropriate. Or allowed. And I was like, I know, but I really want them to. I like the way it sounds and the way that it looks, and I like it. And she was like, well, if you're willing to trade historical accuracy for fun stuff, then you can do that. But if you want to write accurately, then you need to make that decision on what kind of writer you want to be right now. And she said it very casually, and then we just moved on to the next person. But I was like, oh, like it was like a cement block in my stomach. And I was like, yeah, I do care more about being truthful than I do about being, just making the cool choice.
Right.
And that was the moment that became clear to me. So I think about her all the time.
It's a very impactful moment. I think that a lot of people, especially in the arts, have like early stage things that happen to them like that. You know, I remember a piece of advice I got from my favorite AD that I've ever worked with. She's wonderful. Emily Newman. I've talked about her a lot.
Newman, big fan of Newman on the show.
She's my mentor and my stepmom. She's amazing. I was applying to the Sundance Labs a lot. And the Sundance Labs are very expensive to apply to. And as a young 20-something like indie filmmaker, I put a lot of stock and weight into what Sundance was.
It's very prestigious.
It's very prestigious. And obviously, I did not get into Sundance Labs. I had no prestige about me. I was not very good. And the films that they were really looking for were not the films that I was making. And so I was really bummed about it, obviously. And Newman, this is while we were on set, I was kind of telling her, I was like, yeah, I'm bummed about this whole thing. I don't know. I'm feeling very discouraged. And she said, don't compare yourself to people who have overnight success, seemingly overnight success. Because your lack of success does not mean that you don't deserve it. And their presence of success does not mean that they've earned it. It is mostly random. And the older I get and the longer into my career I get, I think that is pretty much true. It doesn't do you any good to compare yourself to anybody else's career.
Or their successes. Everybody's on their own time.
They are. Anybody else's success would have never have been your success.
No, it's never like, oh yeah, you're in a room with 20 writers and the best writer, inarguably the best writer is going to be the one who gets the agent and gets staffed on the show.
Yeah.
That is almost never true.
Correct.
It's just like, oh yeah, this guy, it's like a claw machine picking out aliens in Toy Story. Just like this guy, it's this guy's turn right now.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend recently who just had a lot of commercial success, and 99% of me is thrilled for him because I love this person. And I also like one of these people that I knew instantly when I met him, like he's going to be successful. Like there's just no doubt in my mind. And so it's very satisfying and exciting to see it happen up close. That 1% of me is like, oh, that would be real nice.
Yeah.
I feel bad for myself. And he even said it before I even admitted it. He was like, you know, everybody's on their own time. It's happening for me right now, and I'm really grateful, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen for everybody else.
Yeah, well, and also like just because it happens once doesn't mean it'll ever happen again, you know?
No.
And so there's a certain amount of like enjoying it too, you know, making sure that when the success does come, that you recognize it's not really in my control. I did the best I could. I'm going to enjoy the moment that I have now. Maybe this will continue to go. I don't get to choose that though, right?
Yeah, it's that Kurt Vonnegut quote where he's like, you should look around, and if you ever find yourself thinking, damn, this sure is nice, you should say it out loud.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be like that.
That's a really good quote.
Love Kurt Vonnegut.
Kurt Vonnegut's wonderful.
He's full of them.
Also from Jay Corrado, if you could only recommend people one book, what would you pick?
The immediate book that came to mind is 10th of December by George Saunders. It's a short story collection.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will take your brain and like taffy it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But my all-time favorite book is All Quiet on the Western Front. So it's hard for me not to recommend that one.
I want to think about this one a little bit.
It's tough for you. You read a lot. You are a voracious reader.
And I only read fantasy, really. Like I read a little bit of other stuff, like fiction, but I'm split because I know a lot of people don't like fantasy. And I think anybody's journey with liking a genre is different. You know what I mean? I think one of the most impactful books that I've ever read was Name of the Wind. I think it's a beautiful book. I think it is the reason that I like fantasy as much as I do. It got me really into it. And as a young man going into adulthood, that book was very meaningful to me. That book is wonderful in so many ways. I've talked to you about Patrick Rothfuss's failings as a writer, but the book itself, I think, can be taken and enjoyed. It's beautiful. From Deanne B6925 on YouTube. Why is Connor missing a tooth? I didn't notice until your most recent video, and now I'm weirdly curious about the dental health of a stranger on the internet.
Oh, hard relate to Deanne on that one.
I absolutely do not mind sharing it at all. I'm very open about what happened to me. And I've never mentioned it on the podcast before. So this will be a good little story time. So Lindsay will get bored because she's heard the story.
I will not get bored. How dare you? I love you and I love listening to you talk.
Well, thank you. I was fishing for the compliment.
That's why we started this podcast, to get you to talk more.
Yeah. So this was back in 2015 or 16. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time. And one night I was going back to a video store to return some DVDs because I was renting DVDs at the time because I thought it was very cool. And Netflix didn't have a good enough library yet. And I was driving down the highway on 35 going north. And I saw something on the road. And I was like, that's the weirdest looking grasshopper I've ever seen. And then it crashed through my windshield and hit me in the face and knocked out this tooth right here. Clean out. I still have it. I'll show a picture of it if I've got a picture on my phone of it somewhere. I managed to stay conscious. And I also managed to stay in my own lane and not crash into the cars that were next to me. This is like I want to say 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I kept my cool. I pulled off onto an exit ramp, like kind of the median of an exit ramp. Had a very brief panic attack where I tried calling multiple people and nobody answered.
Oh, God.
I called like 5 or 6 different numbers. I called people who were not in the state. I was kind of like...
God, I feel like I'm falling down a well.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Eventually, got the paramedics. They came. They patched me up and took me to the hospital. And I had to get surgery. I had 4 stitches on my top lip and 5 stitches on my bottom lip. And it had cracked all of my top teeth. So all of my teeth up here are actually fake. They're veneers. And I'm still obviously missing this tooth, but I'm working on that. That's why I had surgery recently.
Constant work in progress. The mouth is a very tender environment.
So this was 2016. Then in 2020 or 2021, I think, I got x-rays done because you're always getting x-rays done when you've got missing teeth. A shadow showed up on one of my other teeth. And they told me that sometimes when you have tooth-related trauma, other teeth can just randomly start not working anymore. Because the way it works is your tooth, as it explained to me, is sitting in your gums, and the root of your tooth has proteins around it or something that is constantly eating away old bone and then rebuilding new bone. And the way it does that is if it's like being used and whatever.
Human beings are disgusting.
It's crazy. And I'm sure somebody with a dental degree can correct me on everything.
They're going to be like, actually.
Yeah. And so they had to extract this tooth. And so I'm missing both teeth, as you'll see. And so I am currently in the process of getting implants done because what happens if you're missing teeth is that your jawbone will slowly deteriorate because you don't have teeth there. And then eventually your jaw will kind of like crack in half, or you have to get major, major surgery to reconstruct it.
It's an amazing thing in the body, actually, like this mechanism that like, if we're not using it, let's just eat it and use the nutrients and put the energy somewhere else.
Yes.
Like that's such a good instinct for the body to have. And in this case, 100% wrong.
The human body is insane. And it always figures out how to work no matter what. So yeah, that's the story of my missing teeth. I hope that satisfies any curiosities.
And that's why Connor mentioned in a recent episode that he had dental surgery. And this is the reason why. Still dealing with that rock throwing incident, which happened in, what'd you say, 2017?
2015 or 16.
2015. So yeah, 11 years later, still getting surgeries. And
it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive.
Can anybody in our comments explain to me why dentistry is not included in like medical insurance? Like, why is the mouth not the body?
Yeah.
As far as insurance is concerned. And that's like a European thing too, as far as I'm aware. Like dentistry is not covered in most public plans, but like every other form of medical care is.
Yeah.
What dentist convinced the world that it should not be covered by insurance?
I know. Well, and what's crazy is like nothing that I've done so far with my teeth has been covered by insurance.
No.
Even the accident, the initial rock accident. So we later found out that there was a person that threw the rock that hit me.
He was a serial rock thrower.
Yes, you can look this up. In Austin, Texas around this time, there's a serial rock thrower that was standing on top of bridges and hitchhiking and throwing rocks into oncoming traffic. And then he would show up on the scene to help people that he had just hurt. And a lot of people died around this time. I got very lucky. I consider myself very lucky considering the circumstances.
It's like when an arsonist lights a house on fire and then watches it burn.
Exactly.
Like you need to be put away.
Yeah. I believe that man is now incarcerated for a very long time.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
So no worries there. But yeah, just a random freak act of violence. And my insurance did not cover me because I was in a weird gray area. They hadn't caught the guy yet, so they weren't able to prove that it was a rock throwing. And so it's like it falls under the gray area of like, okay, well, is this an assault or is this a car accident? And my insurance was able to kind of maneuver out of having to pay anything. I got a little bit of payment, but not nearly enough to cover all my surgery.
Well, and a lot of the work is considered cosmetic.
It is.
Despite the fact that without teeth or a jawbone, life is quite difficult.
It is. I know. And that's the problem, is that insurance there is really no dental insurance that I've found yet. There might be, but I haven't found it that covers any of the surgery that I need. It's entirely out of pocket, which sucks. It's very expensive.
You know who could solve this problem for you?
Who's that?
Luigi Mangione. I think we all know what side of the fence I land on that.
Yeah, exactly. The Philly mayor.
The mayor of Philadelphia wrote in?
Mayor is in like the horse.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
A horse from Philadelphia wrote in.
They've got a lot of questions. I'll just pick a couple out.
Glorious.
Do you see yourselves being in the film industry long term? Do you see yourselves being in LA long term? And do you have any interesting LA stories?
Okay. Do I see myself being in the film industry long term? Yes, I do. I'm a big proponent for the day job. Like if you're in any creative industry, but I can really only speak to the film and television industry, I'm a big proponent for having a day job.
Absolutely.
So I work outside of like this podcast and outside of like indie sets and professional writing. Like I also have other jobs, usually in education. And that's where like I'm able to pay my rent and have insurance and pay my bills and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I always see myself making films and helping my friends make films and writing. I always see myself doing that. But as far as that being my full-time job all the time, no, certainly not. And I wouldn't want it to be.
Yeah. Do you see yourselves being in LA long term?
No, I do see myself always returning to LA. I have a ton of friends out here, business connections and extended family out here.
Mm-hmm.
And for right now, the entertainment industry still has a big hub out here. I would say it's not the central nucleus like it used to be. Now film is kind of branching outside of LA and being made everywhere, which is exciting because I don't particularly love living in Los Angeles. I would love to live somewhere else and come to LA to work. I think that would be dream life. I'm based between Paris and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I spend 9 months in Paris and like 3 months in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So no, I don't see myself living here long term. And obviously wherever I go, Connor is coming because he's my left hip.
Exactly. And I feel very similarly. Like, yes, I do see myself being in the film industry long term.
Yeah.
I love the film industry. I wish the film industry was different. And you and I are in the process of figuring out what the best way for us to stay adjacent and within it at the same time, you know?
I think I'm really interested in having a little bit more control.
Yes.
I'm about to be 29. Maybe when this goes out, I'm already 29. My birthday's coming up. And I'm no longer interested in fetching coffee for people or being an assistant who answers the phone or handling someone else's travel arrangements. Like, I've been doing that kind of work for a really long time, and I'm not interested in that anymore. I want
Yeah.
more than that. And those are the only jobs that I'm seeing posted regularly. So I am looking to make my own opportunities, make my own films, and again, like produce my friends' films too. Like, I'm mostly interested in like supporting my friends' work and supporting my own work. And if that means that I never make a major studio picture or never work on a major studio picture again, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. I know I've become kind of disillusioned from the film industry a little bit in the last couple of years because of all the tumultuousness that has been happening. And a lot of that has caused me to do something similar, where I'm kind of redefining what my goalposts are and what
Yeah.
my ideal idea of version of the film industry is.
Yeah, and what my values are. I want a job that allows me to like also uphold my values. And my values are not in making like executive or network executives' lives easier. It's in making a really good piece of art.
Yes.
And so I want to be able to do that.
Do you see yourselves being in LA long term? No, I'm with Lindsay. We're totally in agreement on being in LA long term. I would like to visit every couple months, maybe.
Yeah. I don't want to be based here.
No, definitely
but I love
not.
to come visit. I think Los Angeles is a great city. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on LA. It's a fantastic city. I have friends and family here. It's glorious.
Mhm.
I think it's really fun to visit and very difficult to live in.
Yeah. Who would you most like to meet outside of Hosier?
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. Yes, you would like to meet
Another
Conan.
tall Irishman.
I know. Who would I like to meet? I've never thought about this. I'm not very big on celebrities. This is not a thing for me.
No, we've worked with some famous people before. You meet famous people. And in LA, like they are around. Like I see Colin Farrell at the same coffee shop several times,
Sure.
And it loses its sheen because you do realize very quickly celebrities, they're just like us, We've heard that a million times, but there are some people that I would not be cool meeting. Like
Yeah.
I think Conan O'Brien's one of those people. I would love to meet Conan O'Brien. I don't think I would be normal about it.
Sure.
I think I would become very overwhelmed and just start talking and like trap him in a conversation.
Yeah.
The same thing with Wes Anderson and with Owen Wilson. Like I think I'd just start yapping. Like, well, and then I lived in Texas for a while. You were also in Texas. I'm curious. With that movie, you shot it in Texas. I'm curious. The color palette. It's what an hour would go by, and he'd be like, "How do I get out of this party? This is my nightmare."
I think for me, it's between two. It's either Gordon Ramsay. I love Gordon Ramsay.
Really?
Yeah. Really look up to him, and Jack Black, which.
Oh,
It's kind of cheating. I've already met Jack Black because I've worked with him on 2 movies now, I think. But I would, I was a passing PA, right? Like he didn't meet me as a person. I would love to meet him as a person and be like, we worked on this movie together and I saw you play a show at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach and our lives have been kind of crisscrossing, for a decade and a half. Like,
he has a very good reputation.
He does have a very good reputation and for a very good reason.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. Also from the Philly Mayor, who is the most inspiring woman to both of you?
Most inspiring woman. This is cheesy, but can it be someone from my own life?
Of course.
Probably my aunt. What do we call her? My Aunt Marie. I can't use her real name.
I know you can't use her real name.
But my Aunt Marie is pretty much one of my favorite people in the entire world. My mom, too. Fantastic. I'm surrounded in my family by really awesome women. I have cousins, my sister, my mom, my aunt.
Yeah. And again, I don't look at celebrities to look up to other than Gordon Ramsay, apparently. But my mom has been probably the biggest influence on my life of anyone in my life. And for a very good reason. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Yeah.
So I think that is the person who's affected me most. As far as like celebrity women.
I know. I feel like saying family is cheating. So I'll
is.
say Miranda July.
Okay.
She's one of my favorite writers right now. I just started reading her last year and I love her writing style. She is so funny, but she covers very dark subjects. And that's my bread and butter. And I just found out that she was a member of Riot Girl.
Oh, really?
In Portland, which was like a punk rock, like feminist group in Oregon. Like she's led a really colorful life. And she also runs a Substack, and I eat that Substack up with a fork and spoon and knife. It's delicious.
That's pretty cool.
I just want to know, I could read like a whole book just on her opinions on cranberries. I'm so serious. I think she's so interesting.
Yeah. This might sound cheesy, but if mine is a fantasy writer, I think Ursula K. Le Guin is someone I look up to dearly.
Fantastic answer.
Thank you. The more I read her work, the more I read her words, the more I read her interviews, the more I am amazed that she was a human being at all. Like truly one of the best of us, it seems.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Uh, you know, I admire her in so many ways. And if I could make anything that is even a tenth of something that she has made, like I would be very happy. Okay, this one is from Leo Coyote 579 on YouTube. What do you find gratifying about writing, and when did you start writing screenplays, and what sparks your imagination? It's a multi-parter. Let's just talk about writing, I guess. Tell me when you started writing screenplays, and what to you is like the spark that keeps you coming back with screenplays.
Well, I started writing, period, when I was a very little kid. I loved telling stories. They would send us home with those spelling words, and you had to use those words in a sentence. And instead of just like, if the word was dog, instead of just writing like, the dog ran around the block, I had to tell a whole story. It was a whole thing. So like at one point I broke my arm in a horseback riding incident. And so my dad was writing out my homework for me, but I was dictating. And so he'd be like, okay, the word is dog. And I'd be like, okay, the black schnauzer dog and the little girl went running around the block looking at every blueberry bush on the way. And then she bumped into Grandma, and Grandma sent her into town for a baguette. And he'd be like, can you just, okay, I'm putting a period here. That's it. That's the end. I'm not writing anymore. So it started there. And then I wrote a book, biggest quotation marks in the world, when I was in 4th grade. And it was called The Horse in the Canyon. And it was all about a magical horse who takes a girl out of her village after it is bombed.
Oh.
Her village gets bombed, and this horse comes in and rescues her.
Bombed by who?
I was watching a lot of Afghanistan war news at this time.
So
I have to imagine it was somewhere in the Middle East.
Probably America.
But I didn't pick a place because I didn't know how to spell any of those countries. But yeah, I wrote that book in 4th grade, and I was so convinced. I had so much confidence. I was like, this is going to get made into a movie.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning is going to play this Middle Eastern girl.
Of course.
Naturally.
Of course.
So yeah. And then from there I wrote like other little stories. First screenplay I wrote, I don't think I wrote until I was in junior high. And it was very difficult because screenwriting is very technical. And of course in junior high, I don't have like a technical mind to be, to know how the camera works or how any kind of like movie making works at all. And I hadn't been on a set at that point. So really started screenwriting in earnest when I was in college because I was working in theater and I knew that I wanted to at some point transition to film and TV. And I started writing screenplays more like, 1 or 2 a year to try to build up my portfolio and get better at it.
That's great. What would you say is kind of like your big spark or like the thing that keeps you coming back to screenplays and just writing generally?
I don't know what keeps me writing screenplays at this point because it's so fundamentally unrewarding and again, very technical, and it can be a very limiting art form. And maybe that's the draw, is that it's hard. And so I keep going into it to like, how can I make this fun? How can I keep it fun? How can I make something that is so fundamentally not fun to read? Right. How can I keep color in this black and white world?
Yeah, I don't know if people are aware of that. Like screenplays are incredibly dry when it comes to reading.
They're
them.
usually not very fun to read. And when you find one that is fun to read, that's how you know you have something really special.
Yeah.
So I also love editing, and screenwriting is screen editing. So I enjoy that. And what sparks it is like other movies or plays that I watch. Anytime I go see a play, I have to bring a notebook and pen because I get ideas left and right.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be a good short story. That would be, that could tie into this screenplay that I've been writing for 5 years. That's how that scene could go,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I started writing at a very young age too. Mostly because we would make little comic books in elementary school. I wasn't a very good artist. I couldn't draw very well, but we had another person in our class also named Connor, who could draw really well. And we would all kind of come up with stories together. And so I started going home, and my grandma had a typewriter. And I thought the typewriter was the coolest thing ever.
It so is.
And I would type out these stories on this typewriter on just regular printer paper. And I actually still have that typewriter to this day. I asked my granddad if I could have it after my grandma passed away, and he gave it to me. So that's kind of like when I started writing, was when I was probably in like elementary school. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I would write longhand in like composition notebooks, and A lot of it was fan fiction. A lot of it was self-insert fan fiction. We've gone over this, and I'll be honest, I really didn't understand why I liked writing until probably my mid-20s. Like, I knew I liked it. I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't really understand it yet, like the capital W writing thing yet. You and I have talked about it. It's that feeling of like, amongst every person who's ever lived, there's a river beneath us that is entirely connected. And like the creation of art, the creation of writing, anything, it is dipping into that river and just pulling up a little bit, or letting something go, letting a message go down that river that again is intrinsically connected to all of us. And there's something very magical and very romantic about that I find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question. Knits a trap, like knits a trap. 1934. I have to know what your hair care routine is. And Connor's hair always looks so good. Well, thank you very much. You're going to be very unimpressed with my hair care routine.
Connor uses Moroccan oil.
I do sometimes use Moroccan oil.
Which is very good for dry hair.
It is. I have an incredibly dry scalp, and I have a lot of dandruff, which you can't tell on camera. But I use just regular shampoo and conditioner, and then after, like once every 3 or 4 days, and then I use Moroccan oil on my scalp whenever I get out of the shower. And that's about it.
Yeah. I like 2 brands. I like, what is it? Dr. Frida. Dr. Frida's like curl gel. I'll put up some pictures of products here so you can look at them. They have good mousse and good gel. And then I also really like Aussie for curly shampoo and conditioner. Yeah. They also have great hair gels, and I like gel for curly hair. My hair is blown out right now, but usually it's very curly.
It is, yeah.
And the gels really work well for my hair because I need something that holds and keeps the frizz out.
Mm-hmm. I know I also have pretty curly hair, but it kind of lays down over time. Your mom actually got me this blind barber stuff that's been very good.
It smells very sexy.
It's wonderful. But I also occasionally when I go surfing, it's like surfing just destroys whatever you've got in your hair.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like I don't get too precious about it. From RRS 1576, how do you manage your mental health and worry about finances when you're between jobs? I've just been laid off and a previously stable job and don't know when I'll work again. Brother, I've been there. I'm sure Lindsay has too. That is a trick that you have to develop when you work in the film and television world. The typical way it works is like you work for 3 or 4 months and then you don't work for the rest of the year. If you're lucky, you go job for job for job for job, but that's very uncommon.
I think the most valuable skill that all of these times in my life where I've been very broke, which has been most of my life, all of my adult life really has been just stages of brokenness interrupted by like a month of being okay. Yeah. And then I'm back to being broke again. Is it makes me a very good problem solver. It makes me very good at learning how to cook with whatever is in my pantry and making it taste great.
Yes.
Not just like passable, not just like nutritious, but like good. That's something I look forward to eating. Also learning how to grocery shop when I only have like $25. And other things like how to make a tank of gas last a long time. And like these things are very stressful. Like I understand the question of how do you keep your mental health stable? Because when there's nothing more expensive or more distracting or more stressful than not having enough money to survive. And I think that the answer to that is a lot of physical stuff, which is a terrible answer, but it's eating enough, it's sleeping enough, it's drinking enough water, it's moving your body, it's making sure that your body is taken care of. Because if your body is taken care of, then your mind is not going to be as stressed out.
Yes.
Because your body is fine. You're not starving, you're hydrated, you're getting plenty of sleep. And I think your mind is more willing to accept that things are going to get better. Yeah. If that's the case.
I think that's entirely correct. I've been broke my entire adult life. The most amount of money I ever had was when I moved to Los Angeles, and I had about $10,000 in savings. And I haven't been close to that.
And that promptly was spent.
Yeah. I would say the best thing, it's exactly what Lindsay said. Like money comes and money goes, which is really easy to say when I'm not the one having to worry about your finances, but your body and your mind are the only things that actually matter. Like truly, your physical health and your mental health are it. That is all of it.
That's all you've got. And I want you to like think, if that's a hard thing to visualize, I think it can help thinking like, when you have a sinus infection and you lay down in bed and you can't breathe out of your nose, and you think about all the times in your life when you could just breathe into your nose without even thinking about it.
Right.
And that feeling of like relief and gratitude that comes washing over you when it finally goes away. Like trying to hold on to that feeling. Like I can breathe out of my nose right now. I can stretch. I can go for a walk. I can make myself a bowl of stuff that tastes really good.
Yeah.
And I can drink clean water right now. Like really trying to take that feeling of gratitude and apply it to the smallest things in your life. And this is going to be easier some days than others. Some days I'm like, fuck this clean water. I want to be a billionaire. I never want to worry about putting gas in my car again. I'm so sick of this shit. And then other days it's a little bit easier.
It is.
It's like, I have a car. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. Like as far as practicals go, I can talk about platitudes a lot. As far as practicals, learn to go, like enjoy going on walks, enjoy free things, right? Enjoy cheap meals that you can make. Like challenge yourself to make a meal for less than $3. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be amazing at first, but learning how to cook learning skills that can expand your horizon and also expand your financial burden is important, especially as an artist.
Oh, I saw a great video years ago that I still think about every day. And it was a woman making a stool, one of those ugly ass stools that comes in every American high school, and turning it into like this cute little like Mario mushroom stool.
Oh, cool.
And she was like, look, she was from the South. She was like, look, when you're broke, you don't have time to be untalented or unskilled. You got time because you ain't got money. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up a tutorial on how to make your own cute stuff. And then your house is going to be full of cute stuff that you didn't pay nothing for.
Exactly.
And I was like, it's like so brilliantly put, just very practical advice. Like get good at all the practicals in your life.
Yeah. And also don't stress too much about not having a job. Like
the stress is not going to help you get a job.
And I know it's easy to say that. I've been in that situation. And for me, what always ends up happening is I stress about not having a job for 3 months. And then just as I'm about to be like, I got to go get a job at Starbucks, I got to get something else to pick up time, I get a job offer. And I've been stressing the entire time about not having a job. And then I get a job offer that had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Still stay proactive. You can figure out a way to make money. If the thing that you need for comfort is money, there's good news. Every job pays money. Money is in plethora around the world. But figure out what makes you comfortable and what makes you happy. That's the important thing. And surround yourself with people who are good. That's also important. Okay, from Ashley Smith Smash. As a Canadian, my ears always perk up when Connor's Canadian connections get mentioned. But I'd love to hear more about how his dad being from a prairie province in Canada impacted his upbringing and whether or not Connor or Lindsay have visited parts of Canada.
What a thoughtful question.
That is a very thoughtful question. Yes, so my dad is Canadian. He is from Hamiota, Manitoba, which is a very, 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 very tiny agricultural town in the middle of nowhere. I am not actually from Canada. I'm only half Canadian. I was born in the States. But obviously, my dad being Canadian has had an impact on me, whether I realize it or not.
Just the smallest thing is that his dad does have a Canadian accent.
Yeah.
And when Connor talks to his dad, it comes out. You'd think he was born and raised in Toronto.
Which again, I cannot stress enough. I have never lived in Canada. I was not born in Canada. I only have Canadian family. But for some reason, I develop an accent when I speak to them.
Oh, yikes, bud.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
That's no good, eh?
We went up.
Like, who the hell is this man?
My dad's dad, my grandpa passed away, and we had to go for the funeral. And we were up in Canada for probably like a week and a half. And it took me about a week to stop speaking in a Canadian accent after I was up there. Because my family is like very blue collar. They've got kind of thick central prairie province accents. And it's a whole thing.
I think what most people don't know, what I didn't know until I started dating Connor, is that most of Canada is rural, open land.
Yeah.
That there's not a lot of people or a lot of things around.
No, and it's flat for most of it, like in the center especially.
Which is fascinating because, like, again, growing up in the States, like all we see is pictures of like Banff.
Yeah.
And it's surrounded by and like people skiing. And so it's like, oh, Canada, it's just one big mountain. And then you look at Manitoba and you're like, oh my God, no, it's just cold Texas.
And it's like so flat that you can see for miles and the roads just go straight.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. No, once you get to the Rockies, it gets insane. I could speak to that. Have you been to Canada before? You haven't,
Never.
Right? No?
Never.
We should go to Canada. I want to take you to Canada.
Well, Connor and I are working on a project that may or may not be bringing us to Canada in the next year or so.
Potentially in the future. That's our hope.
So I'm very excited about that.
I've been to Canada. I've been from Hamiota or Manitoba all the way to the west. We did a road trip. So I've seen everything in that section from Manitoba from like basically Winnipeg to Vancouver.
That sounds awesome.
It was great. I think Banff is one of the prettiest places I've ever set foot in. It was unbelievable. Like everywhere you turn is a postcard. I think every person living in North America should go see the Rockies. Seeing the Rockies, like the Rocky Mountains up there, was one of the most impactful and like almost spiritual experiences that I've had as an adult and as an American. It is unbelievable.
They're
it's like
so beautiful. I've never seen the Canadian like side of the Rockies, but like the United States Rockies. Wow.
It's like one of those things where you and I went to Yosemite last summer. And when you come out of the vista, the tunnel that leads into Yosemite, and you see the entire park, and you're like, oh, this is what Teddy Roosevelt was talking about. Like, this was the vision. Oh my God, I feel it. You know what I mean?
I would also ride horseback. I'd also carry a big stick.
Exactly. This question comes from Evan Weichert, not sure. More for Lindsay than for Connor. But how have you and your friends navigated giving feedback to each other post-MFA graduation / outside of school context? I'm in an MFA and I absolutely love my friends and their feedback, but I'm really worried about us getting lost after graduation without the structure of school.
That's a very good question. I know right after we graduated, we formed a few of like my closer friends and we formed a writers group, and we met weekly. And then very quickly that schedule just wasn't working for people. Like there was not only the strike, but we were looking for survival jobs. And then a lot of us had like several side jobs, and it was just not really feasible to meet every single week to turn in pages. You know, that's hard. Once you're out of school, you're just not writing as many pages generally. So then it was bi-weekly, and we did that for about a year, and then the group ended just because everybody's schedule got mixed up. Some people were working on weekends and couldn't come anymore. Some people weren't delivering notes anymore. One person moved away, so then was working on East Coast time, and it just became really difficult to run an organized group like that. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we created another group. And I know for that first year out of grad school, it was really helpful having a structured, like every Sunday for 3 hours, we meet and we get to see everybody on Zoom and read each other's work and catch up. And it was really nice. And now, because my friends and I get along so well, like if we have a script that we want somebody's feedback on, we just send it to them. Like we ask, hey, would you mind reading my 30-page pilot? Like I want some notes on the humor or whatever.
Sure.
And I've never had a single friend tell me, no, I don't have time for that right now.
Yeah.
And I've never told a friend, no, I don't really have time for that right now. So I love reading my friends' work. I love seeing what they've been doing when I'm not around. And I think if you and your friends are close, you guys can just keep sending each other stuff. You don't need the structure of the program. You can just ask like, hey, Philip, like I'm working on my thing. Do you mind if I send it over to you? And 9 times out of 10, people love being asked advice. You know, it's a very flattering thing. So I have no doubt you guys will stay in touch. No problem.
Yeah. From Rachel Steele 9893. What book series or book fundamentally changed the way you write and view other stories?
All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front. That's a good answer. Why?
I read it when I was 19, and it was very plainly written. It wasn't very flowery. And I think up until that point, all of the books that I thought were good and all the books that I had been told were good were very Faulkner-esque. Just these long sentences, lots of big SAT words and like gorgeous descriptions and very lush. And I love that kind of writing. I think for certain stories, it just is yum, 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 delicious, rich like lobster. But lobster doesn't go in chocolate cake. Like it's not always appropriate, you know, for the thing. And I thought for All Quiet on the Western Front, how plainly it was written was a new kind of beautiful that I hadn't been exposed to before. And ultimately that writing by Eric Maria Remarque is what led me to read Ernest Hemingway. And Ernest Hemingway was a big touch point for me too.
Sure.
All these are very American choices, but you know, I'm very American. So. Although Eric Maria Remarque was a German writer, a German author, but I think that book is usually taught in American high schools.
It is, yeah. For me, I would say Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh, it's a great choice.
That was the first time I had ever read a book that could do that. I was like, you can do this on the page? This is insane. I didn't know you could do this.
God, that book is fantabulous.
It was wonderful. I mean, it was a paradigm shifting thing for me to understand like anything you write can be the thing. It doesn't have to, there is no structure. if you don't want there to be. The structure is whatever you decide it is.
Also, your voice is appropriate for your story. Whatever your
Exactly.
story is, your voice is applicable to
That's
it.
a really good point, because that was the first time I read a book where it's like, wow, this is a voice. This is such a strong voice.
Oh, you could pick Kurt Vonnegut out of any lineup.
You really could.
He describes at some point these soldiers are. It's about World War II.
It is.
So it's very dark. There's this heavy cloud lingering over the whole story that you're aware of. And there's a certain point where soldiers are marching through the grass, and he describes it as wet salad.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Just a random description of like we were marching through wet salad. Like that's so Kurt Vonnegut.
It is.
It's wonderful.
It's very.
I love that book.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of it.
Haley Page asked 6 questions. I will pick a couple of them. So I don't know if we can answer all of them in our time. What's your favorite comfort movie or show?
Maybe Parks and Recreation. No, BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman
That's
is
a good answer.
Very dark show, but very comforting show.
For me, Community is my comfort show.
Yeah, that's a good answer too.
Okay, we'll just do this a speed round. What is the first thing you noticed / thought about one another when you met?
I thought very attractive, not into me at all.
I thought, did she know she's meeting me?
We were thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Number 4, who is your favorite YouTuber?
Alexandria ASMR.
Ooh, okay. Good answer. He's retired now, but Captain Christian was my favorite YouTuber for a very long time.
Okay.
I think he still makes videos, but they're very sparse now. He was incredible. Or Every Frame of Painting. He kind of changed the film video essay landscape. What's the best vacation you've ever been on?
I went to Hawaii when I was 8 years old.
Oh.
And that was pretty fabulous. I was very concerned about hurricanes the whole time because I was obsessed with storm stories hosted by Jim Cantori, real life meteorologist. I had such a huge crush on meteorologist Jim Cantori. And I was convinced that we were going to die in a hurricane. I'm from California. We never had to worry about such a thing. And now suddenly we're on this teeny tiny island. I'm like, we are going to get blown away. We are not prepared.
You're in the same ocean.
Yeah. But also we're like sitting out by the ocean and eating pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a gecko for the first time. And I remember being like, that is the most beautiful creature.
Yeah.
It goes horse gecko for me. That amazing. And at first I saw them in the house and I was like, Dad, you have to kill it. And he's like, no. Geckos are really good. They eat the bugs. And I was like, well, fuck bugs. Bugs are the worst. I love these geckos. So yeah, that's what I remember.
I think my favorite trip was, I did a solo trip to Europe. It was a family trip that imploded, and then I broke off from my family and did a solo trip by myself. And I spent a lot of my savings doing it, but I'm very thankful that I did it because I learned a lot about myself on that trip. If you ever want to learn about yourself, go solo traveling. I say that as a white, straight man who is somewhat in shape.
I would say if you're a woman, bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
Bring a strong friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you're a man, exercise that privilege.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go walking around at night.
You really should, because somebody has to. What's your opinion on pigeons?
Oh, they're adorable. I hate what we've done to them.
They used to be pets.
Yeah. Those little cooing sounds.
Yeah.
Adorable.
That's a fantastic pigeon
I'm
impression.
good at bird sounds. Nobody asked, but I'm good at bird sounds. Here's this. Does that sound like a bird from far away?
It does.
How about this one? I also do a chicken.
You were a very lonely kid as a child, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, from Ollie Unlikely. How do you find the time to be as well-read, thoughtful, and articulate as you are? Thank you. Seriously, I want to be as curious and thoughtful as you guys get when I grow up.
Shut up.
That's a very sweet thing to say.
You know I love a compliment. That's so nice.
I would say you answered the question. This is something Lindsay actually talks about a lot, is the kind of innate want and drive to be curious about the world. And I think you and I share that in common. We are both incredibly curious people about a lot of different things.
And I'm very grateful for that instinct.
Yes.
I don't know where that instinct comes from, but I'm very grateful that I have it and that I have a partner who's curious too. Because I think being curious is the cure to a lot of ailments facing human beings right now, if I can be very dramatic for a second.
I agree.
I think especially in a relationship, like if you're not curious about your partner, like why they do things a certain way, why they think things, why they vote the way that they do, then you're always going to be at an impasse. If you're not curious, you can never even confront the thing.
Right.
I think getting curious about something, even if it's upsetting or like fundamentally different from your own thing, that is like the cure to so much.
I agree. I think it is it was either Aristotle or Plato that said, it is the mark of a good mind that one can entertain an idea without accepting it.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but whatever. They said it 3,000 years ago. And that's kind of how I feel. I want to know as much as possible. I grew up valuing knowledge. I thought if I just knew everything, I would be okay. And
Yeah.
I still feel that way.
Same. That's why like school was my happy place. I loved being in school. I really
Yeah.
did. I loved teachers. I loved learning something new, coming home and telling my parents about it. I was also a big yapper as a kid. And I think I figured out like as a little kid, if you're not talking about something interesting, people just tune you out.
Mhm.
I didn't want to be tuned out. So I
Mhm.
was like, I better come home with some stories. Better keep
Yeah.
mom and dad entertained.
I think as far as like a practical thing, just do some self-reflection. Like, what do you really like? What is a thing that gets you up out of bed? What is something that really kind of lights your fire, you know?
Yeah. What makes you go, oh my God?
Right. And then look up all the books that are all related to that subject and start reading. Like
Yeah.
that's really, there's so many free things that you can read too. Like all of Shakespeare is free at this point, you know?
I'm reading a book right now that is available through the National Library of Congress.
Exactly.
It is pulled up on my laptop right now.
Exactly. You know, and you'll find stuff. Like I found fantasy novels when I was in my early 20s, my late teens. And that became a thing. I just love it. I love it so much. It lights me up. That's my hobby, is reading fantasy novels. I cannot get enough of it, you know. And because of that, I expand outwards. So start small, build big. It's a practice. Everything's a practice. From Onyx Mango, a couple questions. I'll just pick a couple out. What are the characteristics of a healthy work environment, even under stress?
Again, I think curiosity and I think flexibility. I'm not the boss of anybody here. It's just Connor and I in my bedroom. I have to imagine if we had employees like, and somebody's falling behind or not meeting a deadline, I think instead of just jumping on them and eating them alive, being like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, I hired you because I trust you and I know that you're hardworking, you're a good fit for this position. And so I assume like if you're falling behind or like not meeting the deadlines, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to meet someone where they're at. I think this works in education too. Like, and I work in education. I work with college students mostly, but I also tutor high school students. So I think figuring out where somebody is coming from gives you a really good pathway forward. And there are some students who just don't respond well to like verbal instruction. They need more like visuals or they need more like tangible things.
Yeah.
And so it's my job like as an educator to like meet them where they're at. And that doesn't stop once you hit 18 and you move out on your own. That's true your whole life. There are some people who just, no matter how many times you explain something, they can't understand it until they see it.
Yes.
Or they can't understand it until they try it. I'm that kind of person. I need to just do it and learn how to do it by doing it. It's like this with card games. You know, when somebody's trying to explain a card game to you that you've never played before, I always just want to be like, I don't explain anything to me. I'm not going to remember it. I just have to play it and lose.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure it out. Cause I'm like Seabiscuit. I gotta start losing before I can start to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've worked in a lot of different environments. I've worked in mostly either restaurants in like the service industry in the back of house, or I've worked on film sets. Both are very high stress and both have very similar qualities. And I think though, a quality that I think relates to a healthy work environment is one where the expectations for you are laid out very clearly and are kept. And you know exactly what the expectations of you are at any given time. It should never be a mystery what is expected of you.
Yeah,
And you
that's
should be,
pretty tough.
and you should be able to ask. Like, questions should be allowed in a work environment.
That's a great point. You should be allowed to ask your boss questions if something's not clear to you. Like I always encourage like curiosity and like independence, like try to figure something out. But if it's not clear, ask. What's wrong with asking questions?
Yeah.
I've never understood that, why somebody would be made to feel small because they don't know something.
Of
I'm like, they're
course.
trying to figure it out.
Now,
Like,
there are
this
times,
is good.
exactly. There are times and places for questions. You know, when you're trying to get the last shot of the day before the sun sets, don't start asking, how do I put the bags in the trash can? Like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
have a little bit of sense.
Right.
But at the end of the day, to me, the healthiest sets that I've worked on are the ones where the people in charge go, this is not life or death. This is not surgery. We are making movies. It shouldn't cost anybody any more than a day of work. Like, let's just enjoy our time here. That kind of thing, you know?
That applies to everything except for surgery.
Except for surgery. Yeah. Putting rockets in space. Another one from Onyx Mango. What are your favorite desserts? I know you know the answer.
Tiramisu.
Yeah.
I love tiramisu. I love banana pudding. I love like a dulce de leche cake. I love baklava. Pistachio ice cream with like a bunch of crunchy nuts and sprinkles and stuff on top. Strawberry ice cream, like fresh strawberry ice cream is donuts. I haven't had a donut in years.
Right.
The crimes I would commit to eat a donut are unspeakable. We can't talk about it on YouTube. We will get booted off. I would do anything to eat a donut again. I miss donuts so much. Oh, a donut with pink frosting, an eclair. Shut up. Shut up.
Now, they asked for a favorite, and you've named about 10 different desserts.
I love desserts. I love dessert.
I also love desserts. Carrot cake is a big one for me.
Oh, carrot cake, cream cheese frosting? Get out of here.
Get out of my face while I'm eating this carrot cake. And also, this is a very specific one. Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Americone Dream.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I can't follow you into that. Oh, that's despicable.
It's the one with Stephen Colbert on the front going.
It's way too much. It's got like fudge and fucking vanilla swirls and who knows what else in there. That's not good. That's a terrible answer.
Oh, from Matto Raptor. Matto Raptor's been a long-time follower. I believe they follow us on Coffee too.
Also a coffee member.
Yes. Have you picked up any hobbies or research interests due to a character in a book or film?
This is such a stupid thing.
Oh boy.
In that movie, Juno, that character, Juno at some point says, "Do you mind if I use your restroom? I gotta piss like a racehorse." Or she says something like, "I gotta piss like Seabiscuit." And I say that every day. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world, and I have said it every day of my life ever since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I picked up Kung Fu because of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I did about 1.5 years of Kung Fu when I lived in Austin because I was rewatching Avatar with my roommates. And I was like, you know what? I'm an adult. I can go learn Kung Fu if I want to. And so I did. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Kung Fu and a little bit of Tai Chi, which is what a lot of like the moves in Avatar: The Last Airbender are based off of.
I love you so much. I've never loved anyone as much as I've loved you.
Also from Matto Raptor, if the other person was a font, which font would they be? Courier. You're like a very resolutely Courier.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I think you might be. My first instinct was like Georgia.
That is my favorite font.
Really?
Is Georgia. That is my most favorite font of all time is Georgia.
And kind of classic, a little old school, just barely, but looks good from afar and up close.
We really know each other, don't we?
Yeah.
Why don't we do, we get this question a lot. We got this question a lot in this poll. Let's talk about how we met.
Yeah. It's not the best story in the world, but it is our story.
It's a very well requested thing. I think we can just expand on it a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Connor and I met on Hinge.
Yes, we are dating app people.
We are dating app people. That's not the answer that I wanted to give. I wish we could say we met on set and the light hit his face in just a way and I realized it was my soulmate, but that we met on Hinge.
We met in the fiction, the literary fiction section of the bookstore. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a great story.
I know. But yeah, we live in Los Angeles, and as such, we used dating apps back then.
Yes. And right around the time that I matched with Connor, we talked a little bit on the app. Now, something about me is I do not like to text. I do not text very much or very well. So those initial like conversations over Hinge where you're trying to figure out if the other person is crazy or not, it's like 5 texts back and forth, and it's either a yay or a nay. Like I got to get out of here really quickly. So right around the time I connected with Connor, there was a family tragedy. And I was not really on the app so much, but we had already organized like, hey, we should go on a date. Like I'd already like soft promised a date. Yeah. So I didn't want to just cancel it. So I messaged you and was like, hey, I don't like to text and I got a lot going on. So if you want to meet and go on a date, here's my phone number, text it or don't. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm deleting this app.
Yeah. I'm deleting this app. I'm out of here. I don't care anymore.
And my first text message to her was, hey, Lindsay Beth.
Hi, because that was my name's Lindsay Beth Myers. And so he thought I used my middle name and everything.
I did.
And he texted me. We texted a little bit. We set up a date to meet at a coffee shop very close to my apartment. And he got there before I did. And I walked in and he was already sitting there and he was drinking a tea. And he was reading a Brandon Sanderson book.
I was reading Mistborn Era 2, Book 2. Not that I remember or anything. Important to note, you do not like texting.
I despise it.
And so you do not voluntarily enjoy it.
Texting is for event planning and nothing else.
And so I'm a big texter. I need confirmation on a lot of things. I did not receive a single text from you that morning. Not even like a see you in a bit, like anything. So I'm going into this date. I texted you, like, on my way, see you in a bit. Are we still good? Like that kind of thing. No response. And so I thought, oh, she's probably going to stand me up. Well, I'll go to the coffee shop anyway because we agreed to go there. And the entire time I'm thinking, okay, she's still not here. She's running a little late. I don't know. I think she bailed. I don't know. I think she bailed. And then she walked in.
So then I sit down and we start talking, and conversation's very easy. Like we just start talking about books and family and where we grew up, and there's no like lulls, but every once in a while, like when there's one of those like natural transitions in conversation, it's not awkward, which was a really nice thing when you don't feel like you have to fill in the silences.
Right. And then I wanted the date to keep going, but it was clear that we couldn't do it at this coffee shop, and the coffee shops in LA close at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So we went and we got food after that. I think
we went to a Colombian restaurant and we ate a little bit, and then date continued and we went to a bookshop and we hung out at the bookshop for a while
down the street.
And then Connor walked me to my car, and this whole time I'm thinking like, I don't know if he likes me very much. Connor can be very, not aloof quite, but a little distant. It's a little bit like you're looking at me from across a frozen lake and waving. And I'm like, there's no way for me to read how that guy's feeling right now.
I've been told I could be standoffish.
You can be a little standoffish.
On first meeting.
Yes.
Which I accept about myself.
Yeah. But then you walked me to my car and I saw you almost go for a kiss, but not commit to the bit. And I was like, oh no, he does like me.
It felt inappropriate. We were in a CVS parking lot.
It was very hot that day. Yeah, my thighs were sweaty. It wasn't a good shot. It wasn't a good shot.
And then I think I promptly texted any other people I had dates set up with and said, I'm good, thanks, and canceled all those. And we've been seeing each other ever since.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah. I texted the one other guy that I was seeing, and I was like, please never contact me again.
Since we're talking about our relationship, from NatBatRat D7E. From the outside, your relationship seems to be extremely healthy and mutually respectful. The way you two talk to / look at each other is the sweetest. What do you think are the biggest green flags when it comes to a relationship dynamic?
God, I'm like a broken record here, but curiosity.
Curiosity, absolutely.
Like when you're on a date with somebody and they're only talking about themselves, but they're not asking any questions about you. That's not a great sign. And Connor was always very curious and asked a lot of questions about me and about the world. And that was a really big green flag.
Yeah.
You're also, maybe this is, no, I don't think it's particular to men and women. I think it's just anybody, but you're very understanding and very patient and not hot-headed about anything. You're very mild, feels like a jab, but I don't mean it like that. I mean, you're just very like placid water, just nothing rocks you. And I think, especially as a woman with type 1 diabetes and some like, I had just gotten hit by the car at this time too. That had just happened like pretty recently. And so in my head, I was like, I need somebody who's good under pressure. Somebody who's like going to show up at the hospital and be like, she's on these medications. This is what she needs. This is her history. I'm going to call her dad now. You know, somebody who's on top of it.
Yeah.
And you're very much on top of it. I very much trust you in a zombie apocalypse situation.
Likewise, on my front, which is like the test I kind of came up with in my head for if somebody's a good partner is, would I trust this person with our children to fly across the country? Like if we are all going on a trip across the country, and for some reason I get booted off the flight, do I trust this person to handle our children by themselves? And I felt that way about you immediately. I also think that you can be hot-headed, which you know.
I am.
You are aware of that. And you make an effort to make sure that you know that I know where you're at and kind of mentally where you're at as far as your anger is and like where it's pointed. And even if you're upset, you will still like grab my hand and say, I love you under your breath very quickly. And I think, again, it shows a mutual respect thing. It is you know that I need that kind of affirmation. Right?
Yeah. Just because I'm mad at the government doesn't mean I'm mad at Connor.
Exactly.
You know, but sometimes it's worth pointing out just to make sure like, hey, I'm angry, but we're good. Yeah. I'm not angry at us.
I mean, I think everything starts from mutual respect and adoration. I truly do adore you in so many ways. And if you adore somebody, you can't it becomes really hard to be a piece of shit to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to like hurt their feelings, even in a moment of anger.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to do that, and trust too, which I trust you fully.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
It's a joke how much I trust. It's so ill-advised how much I trust you, actually. But I really do with anything. Somebody asked how we knew that the other person was our person.
Oh, yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah,
a
sure.
bit?
Yeah.
It was our 4th date. We agree on the exact moment in time.
Yes, we do.
So on our 4th date, we went to the Getty Museum, which is this gorgeous modern art museum here in Los Angeles. And there's also like a large outdoor space with fountains and rose gardens and grass, and you can sit and watch the sunset. And it's gorgeous. And in those early days, Connor was really taking me to the sites. He was taking me out to nice dinners and the Getty, and really showing me up.
Yeah. Some swanky events.
Yeah, with date plans. And so we went to the Getty, and it was lovely. And after that, we went to dinner, and we're sitting outside and eating this delicious dinner by lamplight. It does not get more romantic than this date.
It's a beautiful Italian restaurant.
Yeah. And the sun was pretty much entirely set. And there was this moment where we were talking. You said something like, I don't have to explain anything to you. I feel like you already kind of get me. And I was like, I feel exactly the same way. And it was like instantly everything else kind of faded away. Everything else got kind of dark. I got tunnel vision. And I was just looking at you for a long time.
We didn't speak for about a minute. We stared at each other for about a minute straight without saying anything.
Yeah.
And just really looking at each other's eyes. And I was
like, this is it.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
This is it for me.
It really was like, it was that feeling in La La Land where like the spotlight comes down on them and they're the only 2 people in the jazz club. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it for a few months.
No.
And then we revisited it and we were like, did we fall in love at exactly the same time? And we were like, I think we did. Yeah. That's really when I knew.
Yeah.
I knew after our first date that I could love you. And then after our 4th date, I was like, I will never love anyone else.
Yeah, that was a good moment. I think for our last question, people asked about like favorite movies and things like that.
Great.
Let's just talk about just give me your top 4 on Letterboxd right now, and I'll give you my top 4 on Letterboxd right now.
Top 4 movies are Manchester by the Sea.
Okay.
Parenthood.
Okay.
Grand Budapest Hotel. And It's Such a Beautiful Day.
All fantastic picks.
Thank you.
All fantastic picks. Is there anything that sticks out to any of those movies that you just want to talk about?
I think like loneliness is a thread in all 3 of those. I think it's most prevalent in like Manchester by the Sea and Grand Budapest Hotel, but there's just this sense of like the main characters being totally isolated in who they are. They're just out of place and out of time, and they're trying to grapple with that the whole movie. They're swimming against the current that is themselves. And I love the way both of those directors and those writers and those actors portrayed that. It was beautifully done.
Yeah.
It's Such a Beautiful Day is the same way. I remember it being just about grief and loneliness and what it's like to be just a living being in the world. Parenthood too it's a comedy. It's one of Ron Howard's earlier, like, I don't think it's his directorial debut, but it's one of his earlier films. Steve Martin is in it, and I would do literally anything for Steve Martin. Yeah. I would fetch Steve Martin's coffee, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But just like about how difficult and impossible it is to be a parent. There's so many good lines in that movie. It's like every other line you want to stitch onto a pillow. The one that always comes to my mind though is like Steve Martin. His kid is having like a lot of anxiety troubles, and Steve Martin also has a lot of anxiety troubles. And he's like, when your kid is born, they can be anything. They're perfect. Their whole life is laid out ahead of them. And then they turn out to be like me. I'm like, if that isn't right at the heart of what it's like to raise a whole other person.
Yeah.
I think that can be a very lonely place too.
Probably.
Looking at your kid and being like, I'm messing up. I'm messing up every day and I'm trying so hard not to.
Do you feel like these are themes that you kind of expand on or look within in your own writing?
Very much.
Yeah.
I write about, my Substack is called Lonely Pony. It's because lonely horse girl. That's the translation.
Yeah.
But that and grief, I'm very interested in grief and how people grieve and our relationship to death and darkness and dreams and all of that. I love all of that. That's really all I write about is lonely people grieving something.
Yeah.
That's my hamster wheel.
I like it.
What are your top 4?
Right now, my top 4 are Prisoners, There Will Be Blood, In the Mood for Love, and The Iron Giant. I love all these movies. To me, the theme that I pick up on in all of these is like a person who is something that doesn't want to be. Again, The Iron Giant is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the story behind that movie is so heartbreaking.
Love that movie.
I mean, the log line that Brad Bird kind of pitched is like, what if a gun didn't want to be a gun? You know, and I'm going to get emotional thinking about it.
I know. That movie just cuts right into you.
And that truly, like, I think when I discovered that, I realized like that's what I've always been trying to say. Like that is always the story I've been trying to tell, is the Iron Giant.
What if you wanted to be something else?
What if you wanted to be something else? Are you able to be? Is that even possible? You know
what that reminds me of? You were talking about your favorite books in our book episode, our book wrap up of 2025. And you mentioned that one of your favorite lines from one of the books you read last year was, "A dragon never had it that good anyway."
Yeah.
It's kind of cutting to the same thing as the Iron Giant, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And yeah, all these movies have influenced me in some way. In the Mood for Love is, again, one of my favorite movies of all time.
One of the most beautiful movies.
If you haven't
ever.
seen it, do yourself a favor.
If you're at all, even like a passing interest in cinematography, watch that movie.
It is a Chinese art house film, so you have to read subtitles. Get over it and read the subtitles.
So worth it.
It's so worth it.
Oh, man.
It's an amazing film. And you could spend, like I have, over a decade thinking about it and not really fully understand why. It is one of those films you can watch forever and never fully grasp. And that is amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. So yeah, I would say those are my top 4 movies right now. Always shifting. We have a couple more questions, but I think we've answered a good amount.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll save the others for a future episode.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Connor.
And this has been a Hidden Rabbits chat. And we hope you enjoyed. We hope you got done whatever you were doing. I hope if you were cleaning the bathroom, I hope it's sparkling. If you were knitting, I hope that sweater's coming along. Whatever else you're doing, let us know. I love to hear what y'all are working on. I think we have a lot of creative people here. And I love seeing where the projects go while we waste your time. A special shout out to our Kofi members. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. We post mini episodes over there if you're interested, so go check out our Kofi page so you can have access to those. We also have a topic suggestion box, so if there's anything that you've been dying for us to research and go down the rabbit hole of, you can let us know, and we just might do it.
We just might. Thank you so much for our Kofi members. Thank you so much to you for watching this video. It's a Q&A video, so you probably know us or have watched our content if you're watching this. So you're probably already subscribed, but if you're not, please consider subscribing. It's free. It helps us, supports the show. And we make content like this all the time. Thank you so much for everybody who sent in a question or commented on the post with a question. It means a lot to us that our audience is willing to interact with us in any way. You guys are awesome. Like,
so
truly
awesome. You guys are like from all over the world too, which always makes me emotional. It's like, I'm from Bulgaria. What's your favorite movie? And I'm like, how did we even meet? How did we meet? You're so far away.
So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. We could not do this without you guys. Both Kofi members and just regular subscribers. We're very, very thankful. So that's Lindsay. I'm Connor, and we'll see you next week.
And I'll see you in 2 seconds.